experience with Khan Academy has been a very powerful one. She was very engaged at the very onset of the classroom using Khan Academy, but then once the material started getting a little tougher, she became a reluctant Conner. And she was less interested in using Khan and actually was missing the old classroom style. But after getting over a couple of hurdles, it is now her go-to. So not only does she have her Sun badge and is very proud of some of her accomplishments, but when there is downtime at home, she logs on to Khan and she just works 10, 15 minutes at a time doing math problems. So I'd much rather have her doing that than looking at a video or television or some inane computer game. So it's been very powerful in our household.
For Akhil, my son, he started off with multiple reasons to be excited about. He knew his school was being piloted, so being an early adopter was exciting. So that and the first few lessons in Khan, it goes in steps, were really easy. So you sort of breeze through it when you're starting in 5th grade. Very exciting, and similar to Jenny's experience when Akhil did hit his first hard lesson, I did see the frustration build up, and what I found was the first few lessons he didn't need to use the videos, which are actually the strength behind Khan, is where he's actually teaching it to you, and they didn't need it. So it was just about going onto the computer, doing there's 10 problems and being done with it and getting your batches. Then he reached the point where now he had to listen to the videos, sometimes play it over if you don't get it, and he didn't like it. But that was that fine point where his dad and I came into the picture, and we realized that he was starting to cheat the system. He was trying to figure ways of making it easy because he was so excited about reaching, like getting that perfect score. So it has been a really fun ride, like everything else, including learning in the classroom. I think there is no way, even though it's a computer and there are systems, children are going to be children. They're going to try to find the easy way out. And I think that is some of the feedback as a pilot class that we have had the opportunity to give back. And the kids actually have been even better than us because they've come up with their own list. They have ways of making it work that we had no clue or we couldn't even have imagined. And so I think it was exciting for them to be part of this whole system, and eventually I think with involvement from Mr. Julian and parents, I think it was necessary that we remained involved for the very reason of making sure that they really truly are understanding the concepts. And that was, I think, primarily my concern when I first saw Khan, that it's multiple choice, that at some point there is a statistic and you're going to get an answer, especially when you do linear equations. You can actually plug it into the equation and get the answer, and I saw that my son was doing that instead of actually solving the equation. It's not entirely wrong. I thought that it wasn't even truly cheating. If you've got 4 answers, I thought that was a smart way of doing it, but he wasn't learning the concept. So those are the kind of things. I think it's a great system that has been set up where there is feedback going back. I think the videos are the wealth of that particular program. That's how I see it, because sometimes in the classroom I know that Akhil is hesitant to ask the same question a 3rd time. He may ask 2nd time, but definitely not a 3rd time, and then it may just be lost. But here you can just see that video as many times as you wish to see till you get the concept, and I think it takes away that embarrassment. So
as I mentioned, this toolkit's going to be used for parents who are being told, hey, your kid's going to be using Khan Academy. So take yourself back to that time when you found out, and what concerns did you have, and then have they been addressed, or are there still things that you're worried about, that you were worried about then?
When I found out that Morgan's classroom was going to be using Khan, I actually was excited because I knew that it's difficult as class sizes increase. It's difficult for teachers to teach at multiple levels at the same time. So I was excited about the opportunity for her to move at her own pace. And I thought that that would be really important for her. She's very good at math, but she's a kid that needs a lot of practice. It doesn't come instantly to her. And so I liked the idea, so we were given an overview of what Khan offered. One of the things I really liked about Khan was that she could practice many times over and get the practice that she needed. Today in the math book, or the math worksheet, there are 20 problems, and you get those 20 problems for your homework that night, and if you need more practice, that was it for the night. So I like the fact that Khan, we were told that Khan gave you the opportunity to continue working on the same material until you succeeded, and that was very true and was really helpful to her. It also, so I was excited about Khan. I really didn't have any concerns going into it. I just thought it would be a really useful tool for the teacher to help differentiate in the classroom. And I guess my concern was more about larger class sizes and teachers being capable of delivering the same material to all those kids in a meaningful way.
So going into Khan, when we first started, my concern, it wasn't so much a concern, but I didn't really expect it to add much value, to be honest, because I have tried other programs on the internet by other organizations with my kids before. Covington has actually given us suggestions in the past years, and I've tried it, and at some point I found that it would just peter off, or it just wouldn't work. I couldn't keep them engaged, and it became additional burden for me. One more thing to keep a track of, that, okay, in addition to your homework, now you have to do another, say, 20 minutes of this program. So I took it with an open mind. I really liked the same overview that we were given when we were told. So I was excited that they were trying something, and I was excited that they were trying it across the classroom. So I had a little more hope that, knowing that it wasn't optional, where only a few kids take it, but that it was the entire classroom, and that they were going to do it in the classroom every day. And it wasn't something that was coming back home. So there was, there was a little accountability to see, and then I have been pleasantly surprised. I actually think we got more out of it than I expected from the program, in terms of Akhil's interest in math, his confidence, and his engagement in general with the math program.
How do you use Khan Academy at home? How do you as parents use it with your kids?
We use Khan Academy at home on a daily basis. Our daughter does homework on there's a weekly requirement, sorry. There's a weekly requirement of the number of minutes of practice at home, and so our daughter works on that weekly, does that minimum number of weekly minutes. But she also is very much a goal-oriented child, and so if there's something that she hasn't gotten, she wants to work on that goal. So it becomes less about the minutes and more about mastering that goal. And I mentioned earlier that our daughter is good at math, but needs a lot of practice, or needs some practice, not a ton of practice, but a little bit additional practice. And what's nice is that she is able to, with me at home or my husband at home, she's able to ask questions, and we sit down together and we'll get our own scratch pad out and we'll work through the problems together. So I know that her teacher certainly knows where she is real time with his tools in the classroom, but it's nice to have that opportunity to work together, so we don't miss out on any of that parent involvement from a homework perspective. I know where she is, and I know what she's capable of and what her issues are.
And do you use the tools, the dashboard that the teacher has, and you signed on as a coach?
I signed on as a coach early on with Khan because I felt like I needed the visibility, but honestly I haven't signed in as a coach since after the first month, because my daughter uses that same dashboard. My daughter signed on as a coach of herself, and so every session we are both going to her dashboard and we're looking at where she is. It kind of maps out where she needs to be working next, what she should be reviewing, and so we use it all the time.
The way I have used Khan Academy with Akhil at home is I actually feel it's the other way around. It makes him independent of me, unlike before. where I felt like I needed to sit with him and explain everything. He goes to it, he gets his explanations, he tries his problems, and then if he doesn't get it, he usually comes to his father or to me, depending on our availability. The way my concerns were him understanding his concept, and what I did was, what I found myself doing was just randomly picking a problem and making sure, like, having him explain it to me. That was just something his father and I thought was really important for us, as just to make sure that it works. And the same example of linear equations, once I figured that he was just plugging in the multiple choices, and I just actually said that even though Khan Academy is on the computer, I want you to have a pen and paper next to you. I want you to write the equations, solve them, and I want to see it. So that sort of has helped us, and it has definitely made him independent of me, which has been a great positive.
How do you use the dashboard and the tools that Khan provides?
So I have to be honest that I haven't used any of those tools or any of it, actually, frankly. Akhil has been really independent, and I have a feeling he probably has used it more with his father.
Yeah, so we use the dashboard at home to look at what she needs to work on. If I see that the same review items have been up there for a long period of time, then I'm using some parental pressure to get her to go back to those review sessions to make sure